It is 7:58 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and it is officially day 18 of the government shutdown. And I want to talk about something that's not really being talked about around this conversation that deserves a lot of attention. And if you're wondering, hey, why are you still talking about this? Just for context, my name is Camille. I'm a political reporter based in DC, and I cover Capitol Hill, Congress, and every single day of the government shutdown. Now, this government shutdown is on track of becoming the second longest government shutdown to happen in U.S. history. The last one happened in 2018. It lasted for 35 days. It was under the first term of the Trump administration, and it was over border wall funding. Now, the one that happened before that happened in 2013, and it was actually over the Affordable Care Act, the legislation, and it lasted for 16 days. So over the past few weeks, we've been talking a lot about how hundreds and thousands of federal workers have been furloughed, meaning that they can't return to work and they're also not receiving pay. But we're not talking enough about essential workers. These are also federal employees that span across several agencies that their job is deemed as essential, so they have to go to work every single day and they're also not getting paid. Now, two of my colleagues wrote up a really great story just the other day where they interviewed dozens of essential workers spanning across every different agency, from TSA workers to air traffic controllers to people that work for Social Security or in the Department of Veteran Affairs, and just to really get a sense of what's happening. And some of their stories, I personally was kind of shocked because I didn't understand the extent of it. In the article, they were essentially talking about, someone woke up. They interviewed one essential worker that talked about how they even had to postpone a medical surgery because the worker was so scared that they were going to face negative repercussions if they took that time off. In the article, they also talked about how several workers that work in Social Security offices were explicitly told that if they don't show up for work, then they could be let go. Actually, at this point in time, I make a little coffee or tea, but my hands are very full this morning, so no tea or coffee for me. Overall, they said how they have this heightened level of fear and anxiety when it comes to taking time off due to personal reasons, due to even medical procedures, because they don't know if they're going to even have a job when they return. I think one of the biggest things I took away after reading this article is that there's a very high level of fear and anxiety, and most of all, uncertainty, when it comes to essential workers, and especially pertaining to whether they can take off time, whether they can't, and what is deemed necessary and not necessary, especially when it comes to government shutdown. And I think that's something that we really should be keeping in mind, because these are people that you may be interacting with every day that have to go to work, show up every single day because their job is deemed as essential, but they're not getting paid to do this. And they're not getting paid while the government shutdown continues. Talked so much about furloughed employees, but not enough about essential workers. And I think we should definitely highlight this. Anyway, I'll be covering this story throughout the day, so stay tuned for more updates.